TED Talk is for those of you who lead offices and who may have heard yourself saying something like this: the workday starts at 8. If you don't get in till 8:15, I expect you to stay here till 5:15. I actually said that at a staff meeting about 3 weeks ago. This TED Talk is for those of you who work in office, where people seem to notice when others come in and how long they stay, and where sometimes just looking busy is perceived as work. Offices where sometimes your staff may look or feel like this. So TED Talks are about smart solutions, new ideas, right? This is more of a challenge. I want to challenge you to create a different kind of workplace. I want to challenge those of you who run offices, manage people, lead teams, who are looking for different results to take you into the future. I want to challenge you to create a different workplace where we focus more on results and less on who's here when and how long they stay. I challenge you to dare to create a different workplace. A workplace that looks less like this and eventually more like this. I'm going to go for the slide first. Now, this is not easy. I know that. We are, in my job and in many of yours, we are faced with incredible challenges. We are dealing with radically reduced resources. Yet we are expected to create a better product, provide better service, do what we do more efficiently and effectively, and get different results. Now, I believe all this is doable. I believe there's always a different way to do what we do, but it takes creative thinking. And there's the rub, because creativity is expected, it's necessary, it's required. But the process of getting there is rarely respected in today's more traditional offices. So, are you the guy who doesn't get in till 8:15 every day? I think you are, because I'm here at 8, and I see that you don't get in till 8:15. And you leave at about 4:45 every day, and you don't even slink out. You're not even embarrassed when we're supposed to stay till 5. I'm there till 5, so I see you leaving at 4:45. And you, I see your gym bag. You're leaving 11:45 every day, and evidently you go to the gym, and I know you're not back by 12:45. How do I know that? Because I stay at my desk and work during lunch and answer emails. So I see that you're never back within that hour. Now, that kind of attitude is reflected in something like this, where the schedule and how long you spend there in your chair is more important than the results, what you produce at work. Here at this large public university and at many large institutions, I think we still have a pretty old-fashioned way of looking at work. If I'm there at 8 and stay till 5, I'm a valued employee, right? I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But looking at work this way may really prevent our creative spark from kicking in. Heck, it may just kill that spark altogether if we're focused more on the schedule than on the results. Those people in our offices who are charged with processing a certain number of applications, reviewing a certain number of files, are counting on us to come up with smart, innovative ways to do what we do, and they're counting on us to take our processes into the future. So that's going to look a little different. Yep, I'm talking about a ping pong game in the middle of the day. I'm talking about a diversity book club discussion. Yeah, at work. That's work. Those may be just the thing to get us. Okay. Those may be just the thing to get us to think more creatively about what we do and to get our creative spark to kick in. So as leaders, this is especially important for you to have the time to think creatively about your work. You need to get away. You need to look at your work from a different perspective. You need to what if. You need to daydream. You need to talk to other people who do the same thing you do. Now, we used to be able to do that because we used to be able to get away to conferences on a pretty regular basis. There's rarely money for that now, so you have to figure out a different way to get that. You're here today, that's a great start, but make sure you regularly get time to what if about your work. And it doesn't work to be thinking, I could be so awesomely creative if I weren't, but I'm just too busy. I'm just so busy. I'm in meetings all day, and then I go home at night, and I don't have time to be creative because I have to answer all the emails I couldn't answer during the day because I was in meetings all day or answering people's questions. You know what? Get over that. That's not an excuse. Nobody cares. And if leaving in the middle of the day is what you need to keep your creative spark going, then you do that. If getting to work a little later because you want to exercise in the morning, because that gets your brain really going, then you do that. Your staff are counting on you. And also, do you want to keep those good employees? Looking at work as more about results and less about the schedule makes work a lot more interesting. And creative thinking takes practice. Your staff are going to need to be able to do this sooner rather than later, to think creatively about their work. So teach them how and then let them practice. The best thing you can do for your organization is to prepare the future leaders. So how do you do this? Well, this section of the talk is called Learn from Kathy's Mistakes. So about 6 years ago, I started a diversity book club for all the right reasons. I'd done some research, found how that could really be helpful. And so after we read our first book and had our first discussion, which was great, one of our staff left to go to a meeting with the then vice president, and his opening line as he walked into the meeting was, "I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late. Our diversity book club discussion went over a little bit." Yeah, so that was our last diversity book club discussion. So rule number 1, get your boss's support. Very important. Second thing you need to do is talk to the staff in the other offices in your building. When you walk by our office, you might hear something that sounds like a ping pong game. It is a ping pong game. We've decided that's one way we're going to keep our energy up throughout the day because we got a lot of creative solutions to come up with, and that's one thing we think is going to work for us. And then next, you need to tell your staff, I want you to schedule 1 to 2 hours a week of creative time. I'm talking about I want you to put it on your calendar. Then you're going to have to explain to some of those staff what creative time is. Because we kind of kill that in a lot of people in today's daily grind. So explain to them that it's very individual. Every person has to figure out when and where and how they get in touch with their creative side. For some, it might be swimming laps in the morning before they come to work. So they don't come in till 8:30, but your organization benefits because they've had that hour of meditation about work while they're swimming those laps. For someone else, it might be a 5 o'clock exercise class. So you let them leave early to go to that exercise class, but you get this text that evening from this inspired staff member who says, I can't wait to tell you about the idea I had tonight for that current problem we're working on. For some, it's about collaboration, so maybe you create a space in your office where they can get together and kick around ideas. You get the idea. Whether you have a staff member who's an I, like Einstein, who could be found lying on the floor of his office staring up at his ceiling when he needed to get in touch with his creative side, or whether your staff member is an extrovert who likes group activities to really get going, you have to figure out what this looks like for your office. Yes, you are still going to have to cover phones and front desk and see appointments and get all the daily work done that your organization depends on your office to do. Yes, there will still be meetings. But within those confines, you can create a different kind of workplace where you can plan for the future. First step is you need to explain to your boss, I'm starting a diversity book club. You're going to love the results. This is what it's going to look like, and I'll keep you posted. Then have the courage when the staff member or the other director in the other office in your building says, my staff are a little upset that your staff get to play ping pong during the day. Have the courage to have the conversation about creativity and explain what you're doing. So we can do this. We can create a different workplace where we're able to get today's work done and also plan for the future. We can do it. I ask you to think about it. Thank you very much.